Some very basic education today on one, Mach-Hommy, and the reactions toward his 2016 album HBO Haitian Body Odor, an absolutely terrific release. On Mach-Hommy, from Wikipedia. A Haitian-American rapper and record producer, he is well known for his reclusive nature, concealing his real name and face in all public appearances. This behavior has led him to be described as one of hip-hop's most elusive artists. Mach-Hommy gained a cult-like following through his work ethic, and the quality of his work and his elusiveness only added to that. His lyrics are often heavily related to the social and political history of his Haitian heritage. Though he predominantly raps in English, he also frequently incorporates Haitian Creole into his lyrics. He forbids lyric sites to post transcriptions of the words to his songs, and he charges hundreds and even thousands of dollars for his releases, most of which aren't available on streaming services. I'm not going to encourage anyone to seek Mach-Hommy's music without his permission. I'm going to assume the reviews I'm about to read out from Rate Your Music are from those who have. From Patrick on April 2nd, 2020, one of Mac's best, a strong marriage of potent lyricism to effective, evocative instrumentals. Between this and Arm & Hammer, everyone should be giving August Fannin work immediately. As great of a hardcore East Coast record as anything Mach Marcy, and very highly recommended as an entry point for Hommy's extensive discography. Big 2212 on January 8th, 2021 writes, Mach-Hommy makes rapping seem easy with his laid-back yet quotable rap style. This laid-back rap style makes it super exciting whenever he starts flowing fast on songs like Bey Six. Not only does Mac kill it with the raps on this one, the beats on this album are probably the peak of the amazing dusty-ass boom-bap beats we heard in the New York underground scene throughout the second half of the 2010s from labels like ALC Records and Trezeta Records. Beats are great, bars are great, flows are great, record is great. I would certainly agree with this positive reception. I'm not as familiar with Mach-Hommy's, all of his work. I know GAT and Dumpmeister as well as this one. Dumpmeister's the one I like the most, but I thoroughly enjoyed this one as well. This is it's one of those affable and consistent, and you can just sit there near the speaker and just enjoy yourself, and that kind of encouragement where you don't intend to actively listen to an album, but you find yourself doing that anyway. That's a real mark of something special, I think. I'd like to read out now. Also, this is good. Chris JL on July 2nd, 2021. At this point, this is pretty much a comfort album of mine, Mac's most extensive project to date, including the most songs out of everything else he has released. Mac effortlessly sweeps through this album with cryptic, while at the same time in-your-face bars for 16 songs, while a good chunk of these songs happen to be of the short length which is typical for an underground album of this current era. I think it's executed pretty well. This certain execution leads to these songs having a huge addictive feel to them, which always stay on repeat, and my favourite example being the Rock Marciano-produced collaboration Mach Marcy. Clocking in at only one feature, Conway on Midnite Xpress, Mac handles the rest of the songs as a solo MC and does it successfully, doing this in a versatile manner, with some songs having a related atmosphere and some other songs having a more energetic feel to them, mastering multiple styles. Highlights include 1080p, an emotion-filled song with a supreme piano beat, Bey Six, upbeat, energy-fueled highway music, and Kapeesh, a track with cypher-like delivery, basically an onslaught of lyricism with my favourite bar, I bet they find you face down in the mainstream float and trust me. Everything about it is perfect, and his chemistry of August Fannin, who produced a majority of the project, is immaculate. At the same time, the Knowledge, Derringer, Camo Monk, etc. cuts are amazing as well. The Kaisha Plum interlude was also a very nice touch. Even the skit intros and outros are a great fit to the commonly interpreted concept HBO contains, which is, of course, being born Haitian after a nation ran by a corrupt, power-hungry totalitarian. The skits in question complement the concept very well and refrain from being obnoxious to the experience. Something underappreciated that some people don't really point out as much as his rapping, his sing-songy style that he implements in some of his music, with notable examples being the two Derringer cuts on this record, Band Anna and Bloody Penthouse. Overall, HBO is for sure my favourite project of his, and GXFR's catalogue's a modern masterpiece and perhaps Mac at his hungriest. But I also really enjoy the write-up, and it's extensive, so I'm only going to read out perhaps the first couple of paragraphs of it, maybe the last one as well, Bromphazine on March 13th, 2022. Mac's unforgettable mission statement. Hip-hop is like 30 years old, stated Jay-Z in a 2010 roundtable of Steve Forbes and Warren Buffett, one excerpted before the final song on HBO. It's a fairly new genre of music, he continues. We've never seen the maturation of hip-hop before. Jay doesn't lie. Hip-hop has always been a genre by and for youth. New rappers, freed from the confines of the major label system, are trending younger and younger, and few of its first practitioners remain musically active, as do the legends of jazz and rock. This Hov interpolation forms perhaps the most distinct listener-aimed query on a subtle and indirect record. In an era of hip-hop where barriers to entry are lower and rappers younger than ever before, what does mature hip-hop, maturity not in the sense of snobbery or humorlessness, but in one of wisdom, of hard-won truths dispensed, of stories well told, look like? HBO and its consistent patience is an answer to the question it poses. The through line of Mac's music, what he called my personal mythology, insofar the way I think about my origins, is Haiti, and the avatar of Haiti in HBO is Michele Bennett, the country's first lady from 1980 to the 1986 fall of her then-husband's baby doc Duvalier's regime. Duvalier would be the exact pronunciation there. The record is punctuated with excerpts from a 60-minute documentary broadcast in the aftermath of the collapse of her husband's regime and the Duvalier's flight from the country. She adorns the cover, painted by Mac himself, portrayed in a wedding garb that was designed and personally fitted by Hubert de Givenchy, her face framed not by a veil but by a bespoke headpiece, behind which floral garlands form something like fireworks. Though her iconography and story provide the structure for HBO's artistry, Mac does not mention her by name, leaving it to excerpts of the documentary in which Haitians discuss, in still shocked voices, the extent of her greed. Her image hangs over the project, a cautionary tale for those foolish enough to think that to have everything is to be invincible. HBO, like the best of Rock Marciano's work, is sonically uncompromising, but is not an exercise in nostalgia. Its sonics avoid tiresome boom-bap cliches, and its lyrics shun the ambient positivity employed by some revivalists. The majority of the beats come from Dallas area maestro August Fannin, being minimally ornamented loops that range from luxuriant jazz to hair-raising strings and brass. The opening Ti Geralde rumbles atop droning bass and serpentine guitar sampled from Philadelphian shoegaze outfit Bardo Pond. Album highlight Trezeta Air Max floats along on a Charles Mingus sample, just a few seconds of saxophone, string bass and swung hi-hat, and from it emerges something sublimely smooth over which Mac meditates about Jesus' miracles. Pierre Jouet bottles as Molotov cocktails and Klansmen white. His words, Rolls Royces parked on curbs, not garages. Beats from Philadelphia's Knowledge, Atlanta's The God Fahim, Buffalo's Derringer, and the aforementioned Rock Marciano. Similarly impressed, providing beats that hit hard without distracting from Mac's mission. The result is a record that feels drawn from the widest of palettes, not just New York's cradle of hip-hop narrative. It's a record where Mac pulls up to Atlanta in a Tesla, but lets it slip that inside he's listening to Ready to Die. HBO remains, if not Mac's definitive document, his mission statement, an hour of focused, uncompromising music, a work full of rewards, yielded through careful listening. It's a musical, literary, and aesthetic masterstroke, compulsively listenable and worth any listener's time. On Thank God, the album's centerpiece, a spare vocal sample, a shuffling beat, and Mac's baritone weave a song that's elegiac and sad but unbowed. Its end finds Mac reciting mournfully the names of imprisoned cousins and family members, then, when finished, pauses before a final rasped couplet. If she really a queen, she gon' watch what the king say. There's feds on the corner that ride with the stingray. The beat then fades out, slowly and patiently. Mac said what he needs to, but the image of a rap mastermind, surrounded by the world's luxuries, but robbed of the people most important to him, monitored by those who would rob him of his freedoms, is hard to shake. HBO is impeccable, a modern classic, a manifestation of all the potential and possibility of hip-hop's maturity. And if you find yourself with the time, I cannot imagine you feel as though it would be wasted listening to Mach-Hommy's HBO Haitian Body Odor.